Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo along with Eyewitness News Analyst Lt. General Reginald Centracchio. General, you heard President Obama speak on Tuesday talking about the specific targets they have hit, the ISIS targets in Syria. He's getting support from both sides of the aisle, including the local delegation. You know, the first question I think people kind of think about is, does the President or the White House need some type of authority to begin the attacks?
In this particular case, no. He's the commander-in-chief. He feels as though this is a threat on national security. He does have that authority. He does, however, have the support of both sides of the Congress, and I think that's important to realize. As the commander-in-chief, he had the authority to do it. Now he has support from the Congress.
We're also hearing from Britain's Prime Minister on Tuesday that he truly believes ISIS will attack Europe. Your thoughts?
I believe that is the case too, but at the same time, there are several other groups, splinter groups from Al-Qaeda, that have been, to some extent, affected by the salvos that were released into Syria, because they had been clearly plotting against Europe as well as the United States. So that's a fair statement to make that Europe certainly is in the target.
You know, we've talked about this before about, practices, tests that are being done. We saw those soldiers, try to get out of the United States. Obviously, there have been claimed that there is no danger to the United States, the Afghan soldiers that were training. But you see the certain tests. Do you see that going on in Europe too?
Exactly. You can see such things as the White House breach, the soldiers from Cape Cod, Quantico, Virginia. All those, I believe, may have some validity when you talk about testing the system. How far can you go before you pass it on that you shouldn't do this because you're going to get caught? So I think we all need to be extremely careful that anything like that could be, in fact, a precursor to an eventual attack.
All right. You always need support. The United States says they're getting support from several Arab nations to conduct the strikes. They're hitting multiple ISIS targets, including military compounds, General. Usually that's the first part of an airstrike to know the specific targets that you want to hit.
In this particular case, you're right on. They took out the command and control capability, took out the financial capability, and also the communications capability as far as the ability to be able to maneuver, as we've seen over the last several months. So those are the strategic targets that were taken out. Now, the thing that comes next is to be able to go after the leadership. That was not the leadership they were after, just talking about capability at this point.
Well, they're doing this from the sea. They're using Tomahawk missiles. Why target the city of Raqqa, which is in northern Syria?
That's where most of the critical points are for ISIS to continue its command and control capability, not only within Syria, but certainly its reach into Iraq. And so I think that was the purpose and certainly the strategic target that they selected.
All right, so General, how does this go on? Because this just started on Monday.
It's yet to unfold. I think now we're going to have a tougher time, because now that we've taken out those significant spots within Syria, that has forced, at least not so much forced, but it's given them the opportunity, by them I mean ISIS, to relocate. And they can in fact take whatever they were doing into residential areas now. It's going to be extremely hard to be able to target them without looking at collateral damage as far as civilians are concerned.
All right, so General, you're getting, the United States and the Arab nations are getting support right now because those targets have been hit. So ISIS moves into the residential that you're talking about. What happens if civilians start getting hit? Will the tide turn?
You may very well get some pushback. That's what we've seen over the last 10 years or so. Every time you make a strategic move and you take out something, if it affects civilians, and certainly everyone doesn't want to see that, but it's bound to happen. When that happens, you, to some extent, lose the support of the country that has given you support to go in there to begin with.
How will the Syrian opposition groups react to all of this?
I hope in our favor. Certainly you don't know that. We're just hopeful that by giving them arms and making these strategic impacts on the ISIS, that'll give us some capability to be able to use them to our benefit. And by that I mean the entire world, on being able to destroy ISIS eventually.
And quickly, General, when will we know this worked?
It probably won't. This is going to be a long-range thing. This is not a short-term. The President talked about that today, and each of the newscasts that were given by the Pentagon suggested this is long-term.
All right, General, as always, thank you for your thoughts. Obviously, this is a fluid situation. We're going to stay on top of this story, and thanks for watching.